हेलो एवरीवन, वेरी वार्म वेलकम टू ऑल ऑफ यू। वेलकम टू टीचिंग पाठशाला और मैं हूं आपकी एजुकेटर ज्योति। So today we are going to start our discussion on the first molecular marker, that is Rflp, and it is known as restriction fragment length polymorphism. Okay, so this will be the first molecular marker. Before this I have already uploaded a video on the basics of molecular markers, so obviously if you haven't seen that video, first you have to see or watch that video and then you come to this video, because this will be the continuation of the previous video. So we are dealing with the first molecular marker, that is Rflp. So let's proceed. Okay, so we are starting our discussion with restriction fragment length polymorphism. That is what a full form of Rflp. And first of all, I would like to add a point. It is a type of a molecular marker. Okay, it is a type of a molecular marker which is known as a Rflp, and specifically what I have informed you in my previous video, it is a type of a codominant marker, right? Because right now I'm expecting that you are much more familiar with the term, that is what is codominant marker, what are dominant markers. So this is a codominant in nature, that means it is a codominant marker. Next, mainly it used to work on the technique of hybridization. So mainly we used to consider it as a hybridization based technique, or we can sometimes use to call it as a non-PCR based. Okay, but somehow we used to take a help of PCR while designing a probe, but somehow it is regarded as a non-PCR based technique because majorly we use hybridization technique for completing the whole process. So these are some key points regarding the Rflp. Now the fact is, what is Rflp? So make sure first of all Rflp is a technique, and why we need that, or like how it used to work. So I will be telling you in a short story form. Suppose two person is there, okay, person 1 as well as person 2. Both are having the DNA, right? Both are having a different repetition of DNA also. That is what called the that is what give rise to the molecular markers. So similarly, both are having a repeated DNA segments at a various location, and very obvious it might be like, suppose for a person 1 this is a DNA segment. Okay, so there is a term which is known as a restriction enzyme. Okay, the first term will be a restriction enzyme. In short form we used to call it as a RE. What are restriction enzyme? Restriction enzyme are those kind of enzyme which used to make a cut on a DNA segment depending upon the specificity of sequence. Okay, so suppose this restriction enzyme, suppose just name it as a X. Okay, suppose X restriction enzyme is there and it is having a specific area, suppose A T T G. It is going to make cut from this area only. So this restriction enzyme, it is going to recognize that particular area on the DNA segment, and then it is going to make a cut in that DNA. So similarly, there are so many different restriction site are present in a human DNA. So for person 1, let's assume that there is one restriction site here, one restriction site here. Similarly for person 2 also, we can consider that, yes, let's assume this is a person 2 and he is having a restriction site, but it will be a little bit different as compared to the first person, because obviously they are different person. The site, or site may obviously it can vary, right? Because we are the different person is having a different repetition of DNA, so obviously the site can vary. It mainly used to take a concept of different tandem repeats mainly. Okay, so the difference in the repeated sequence is due to the different tandem repeats. So let's assume that person 1 is having a total 2 site for the restriction enzyme. One site is this and one site is this, and the second person is having a site at this area, this area, this area, and this area. So in this way we have understand that how the site are going to vary, right? So the word itself is saying restriction fragment length polymorphism. Why restriction? Because we are using an enzyme restriction, because it is having a site on a DNA segment. Fragment means When we are going to apply this restriction enzyme on a DNA, then it is going to make a fragment of this, right? Length polymorphism. What is the meaning of length polymorphism? That means there will be a variation in length. That is very obvious. Let's assume this one, right? We are going to get one segment in this way, one segment in this way, and one in this way, right? If we are having a two cut site at this location, we are going to get the three fragment. Similarly for this also, when we are applying like restriction enzyme, we are going to get different cuts, like one fragment will be this one, this and this. Can you see the variation? Similarly, we are going to get the variation when we are performing this particular RFLP technique. So that is why the name used to signify the whole scenario: restriction, fragment, length, polymorphism. By using a restriction enzyme, we are going to get different fragments, and that fragments will be of a varying sizes, as well as that variation will be mainly from the length purpose, right? So right now I'm expecting that you are you are clear with the fact that what is RFLP and why the name has been given in this way. So in this way, we can able to explain the importance of this technique, that is variation of DNA. It may vary from person to person, and if we want to study that variation, obviously we use the technique that is RFLP, that will be helping in identifying the different variation. That will be helping in the identifying the different variation in a different DNA samples. Okay, so now we are going to switch to the technique, that means how it is going to how it is going to act in a proper basis, as well as what are the application and what are the whole processes. Okay, so the first procedure, or you can call it as a first step. Okay, so the first step is the sample, that is the DNA sample. We need a DNA sample, and what we have to do, we have to digest it with a specific restriction enzyme. We mainly used to call it as a restriction endonuclease enzyme. So DNA sample will be digested, and we are going to get the digested product. Okay, now the second step will be the separation of these product. Okay, so step 2 will be the separation, and we are going to separate these bands with the help of gel electrophoresis. Okay, and the third step will be the hybridization technique. Mainly we used to call it as a Southern blotting. Okay, Southern blotting, that will be useful for the hybridization technique. Okay, so let's consider there is a two person A and person B. Okay, so for person A I'm writing it here, and for person B I'm writing it here. Okay, so suppose this is a DNA segment, and suppose person A is having a only one site. Okay, one site for restriction endonuclease action. Fine. And for person B, he or she is having total two site for this action, that is two site for restriction endonuclease enzyme. So what we are going to get after digestion, we are going to get two segments, right? Similarly here we are going to get total of three segments. Fine. After this, what we have to do, after this we have to perform a technique which is known as a Southern blotting. Okay, Southern blotting. In Southern blotting there are different type of steps. First we have to run this DNA sample, that is digested sample, on a agarose gel. Then we are going to get different bands. Then we have to transfer that bands on a membrane. Okay, that is what called the membrane transfer. Then we have to firstly we have to design a probe, and then we have to apply a probe to that particular membrane, and then we have to perform the autoradiography technique. And after that we are going to get a bands that will be specific according to their polymorphism, that means the variation in the size. So how we are going to get the band? Let's assume this is a agarose gel. I mean, after performing the southern blotting, how we are going to see it? Suppose this is a column for the ladder, this is for the person A, and this is for the person B. And let's assume this is a ladder. Okay, that will be, you know, helpful in deciding like what will be the size of our sample, right? So suppose for a person A, he is getting two bands, right? One at here and second one at here, right? For person B, it will be total of a three band. One may vary at this point, second this point, third this point. So this is how we are going to get band after the autoradiography technique. Although in this form I have shown you in the sense of like agarose gel, but after southern blotting, when you do the whole thing, that is the labeling, probing, as well as autoradiography, at that time you are going to get these kind of bands. So this is what called the restriction fragment length polymorphism, because we are getting different fragments of DNA just due to the different sites of restriction enzyme which is present in DNA of a different individual. So this was the, you know, this is just a gist, or you can call it as a just a outline of RFLP. Okay, now let's talk about the requirement of RFLP. So first requirement is the DNA sample, right? DNA sample. So as because we have to design a probe in this technique, it is regarded that the DNA sample should be known. Then only we are going to design our probe. So somehow the DNA sample should be known and it should be in a large amount, because we have to perform the digestion technique, right? So it should be large in amount, as well as somehow it is a time consuming process, because it is involving the hybridization technique, digestion, so it is somehow a time consuming process. So these two are the requirement, or you can call it as a condition for performing RFLP. Now if we talk about the application, what are the application of this technique, where we can use this, right? Application. So if you're talking about the application, the first application is mainly in a criminal disputes, like we have seen in movie, like there are so many facts which are there regarding the, you know, suspect, as well as the crime scene suspects and the sample which like which cops used to get from that particular area, so there is a matching and all. So somehow this technique is useful in criminal disputes. Second, that is in a paternity testing. The third application we are going to see in a genome mapping. It is also helpful for disease analysis or disorder analysis. And next we can use it in a study of phylogenetics. Okay, so these all are you can say it as a few application of RFLP. So I'm expecting that now you have got a rough idea regarding the RFLP technique. So if you find this video useful, do like and share it with your friends. As well as now you can also follow Teaching Pathshala on Facebook, and the ID is at the rate teaching.pathshala. Okay, you can follow on this particular ID, and obviously you can easily able to reach to the page of Teaching Pathshala. And do subscribe this channel if you haven't, and hope you all are doing great and stay safe. And in next video I will be trying to come up with some more molecular markers technique as well as their basics. So thank you so much for watching this video.